my ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. So I wasn't going to come on, but I've just had to. And the reason why is because it's fairly late and it's been a long day. But I had three, oh, let's just move this. I've been doing Christmas cards. I had a notification on Monday to say that a FedEx had attempted to deliver a parcel. Of course, I wasn't home because I was at work. So then yesterday I got a second attempt. So I contacted them and said, can I collect it? And they was like, no, you have to wait for 3 failed attempts. Ludicrous, I know. Anyway, today the third attempt happened and they actually rang me. That candle's gonna die. To say, look, what do you want to do? We can hold it for a couple of days, but then it goes back. So I was like, I want to come and collect it. Bye-bye. Put it out of its misery. And so I finished work. I braved the rush hour traffic a week and a half before Christmas. Went and fetched it, just come home, had something to eat, and I was going to leave it until tomorrow. But I'm just too darn excited to do that. So here I am. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit, and I've talked about this deck and how important it is to me, the 1JJ Swiss. The versions that I've got. So for me, with my journey, it all started with this deck, this actual box set, not the actual deck, because I don't know what happened to it back in 1987, some 35 and a half years ago now, since I got this deck. And it was my first ever tarot deck. And these images are just ingrained in the brain. It comes with a book, and I even remember this Celtic cross sheet and laying all the cards on it. But I don't know what happened to it. And so my first deck that I bought, well, the second deck that I bought probably about 6 years ago, was just one that I got off eBay. And I think it's a 1990s version, and at least that's what it was billed as, a 1990s version. Quite nice. The colours are rich and beautiful. They use the primary colours of blue, red and yellow all the way through. But it was Sandra, my friend Sandra from, I almost said the Whispering Well. Sorry, I'm a little bit throaty. Let me just have a sup of coffee. From Spirit of Avalon, which is her new channel name, who had this and doesn't read pip decks, and asked if I wanted it because she didn't want it anymore. And I was like, I would love it actually, because it's the first tarot deck. Even though I'd got one, it was the first tarot deck I ever had. And then I heard about the 1970 version, and you know, this is the Blushing Fool equivalent from what is the RWS, with this being the 1JJ Swiss. It doesn't say 1JJ Swiss, it just says tarot cards, and it's the 2-part box rather than a tuck box with the gold base. And the colours are less vibrant, they're muted a little bit. But what's phenomenal is that beautiful soft paper cardstock. I used this card as Devil Week in the Hermit's Cave last week. So this is one that I don't use very often because, you know, it's 52 years old and I want to preserve it. And another reason why I don't use it a lot is because of this beauty. So this is Conrad Stain's version, which is on MPC, and they are full tarot size. And when I say full tarot size, that's a bit misleading, like a US Games MPC, whereas the 1JJ Swiss is smaller, as you can see here. So you get more of the image. But what Conrad did was to do this in a vintage style. So as you can see, you know, it's aged and it tones down the bright, vivid colours, but there's something just adorable about this deck. I absolutely love it to bits. And this is on my desk constantly. Just fantastic. And these images are so iconic, especially if you're in the UK, because as we've mentioned many times, they featured on a well-known popular TV show called Tales of the Unexpected in their opening credits. So I was talking to Justin Michael, about this deck and saying, you know, if you're interested in 1JJ Swiss, then there's this version available, very affordable, £28 or maybe even $28 on MPC. And then he told me about this, which I didn't know about at all. I've not seen it yet, other than the few images it's on MPC, because I wanted to share the experience with you. But this is a 1JJ Swiss that has been put together by Vincent Petici. I hope I'm saying his name right. Now this was a little bit more expensive than this MPC version by Conrad Stein. This was just about, just under 50, so about £48. However, it does come with a box, and there isn't the option. You can't just buy the cards. It's the card and the box set. Whereas, you know, on MPC, it's the cards, and you can buy boxes, tins, etc. if you wanted to. Sorry about my throat today. I think it's this very cold weather. It's -6 at the moment. So, and then what Justin was telling me was that is used a new colour, a new palette of colour, but also there is 80 cards in this, because what sets the 1JJ Swiss apart is that it kind of follows the Besançon system, where the High Priestess or Papess and the Pope card were replaced, and there's a whole raft of reasons why, or you know, not necessarily reasons, but theories. One was, you know, it was to kind of appease the Catholics at the time. They didn't want to offend by putting the Pope and the Popess into a deck. You can look it up. There's different theories as to why that is. And the reason why this deck is called the 1JJ Swiss is because 1 is the production number, JJ is for Juno and Jupiter, Junon and Jupiter. So that's those two cards there. So key 2 and key 5. What we would know in modern day tarot as the High Priestess and the Hierophant, or Pope and Papess if you're using Marseille, etc. So what Vincent Petici has done is that he has kept those in, but he's also put in a High Priestess and Hierophant, or Pope and Papess. I can't remember which it is, but we will have a look. So I quite liked the idea of that, even though I think this one is going to be my go-to deck, because I love it. I like the idea as well of having an alternative. And of course, he's had to create those cards as well. They don't exist anywhere. So he's had to create them. Let's go in here. Here we go. That's very tough plastic. So 1JJ Swiss tarot cards with new palette of colours and optional High Priestess and Hierophant. So he's using the kind of more modern, what we'd see in the RWS as High Priestess and Hierophant. On the sides it says authentic 78 card, 1JJ Swiss tarot, fortune telling deck, contains 2 optional cards as the High Priestess and the Hierophant to replace Juno and Jupiter from the original version. the most popular Tarot Fortune deck for card readers. Now it's interesting because when I was getting into tarot, when I was 16, back in the 80s, there wasn't a lot of choice. Now, I just remember seeing this deck everywhere. I say everywhere, it's not like it was in every shop. But when I went into like the kind of, what we would call the weird and wonderful type shops like Ice 9, which has been around since the 80s, and I kind of think that's probably where I got it from, or, you know, the girl I was working with picked it up from. But my friend Jen, who was also into tarot at the same time, had a Rider-Waite deck, and that's what we called it then, the Rider-Waite deck. And that was really your choices. From memory, I just remember seeing two, this one or the Rider-Waite. And I think the reason why I probably went for this one is just because of these iconic images that I've been used to seeing on the TV. All right, so, we've got the back. So we kept the same, the colour looks a little bit different, but we kept the same design. Two-part box, nice, and it's not the sturdiest, as in rock hard, but it's a sturdy box. It's well made. And then let's have a look at the cards. Yeah, so we can see, let's take this band off. Oh, it's linen as well. That's interesting. Yeah, so it's linen cardstock, whereas this is the Superior Smooth, or the Standard Smooth, I can't remember. There's not much difference really. And there is a colour variation here. This is more of a greeny colour. It's thinner because of the linen cardstock than this. This is quite a nice thick cardstock. In fact, if we put them side by side, we'll probably be able to see the, well, it's not that much. There's probably about 5 cards, but then there's 2 extras in here. So probably 5 or 6 cards different in thickness. They are going to be the same size because they're both from MPC, so exactly the same size. All right, so I should really put this in order, but we're starting with, look at these. These are beautiful. The colours, oh gosh, I wasn't expecting that. Let's put these in. Oh, wow. Wow. I am so impressed. I think I'll show you some against the originals. And then we start here with our Fool, see the High Priestess as well as Juno. And the art style is done such a good job, hasn't he? The art style is fantastic. Okay. I'm going to just pause and put some of these cards in order so I can kind of show you a comparison. Okay, I'm not going to put all these in order because this really is to kind of just show you the difference of the aged effect, because the same colours are used. So we have the original, this is the 1970 version, and as you can see the same colours are used, it's just that it has this beautiful and really well done. Sometimes when images or cards are you know, have like a vintage filter or something applied to it, it can be OTT and quite distracting. This isn't, it's, you know, it's done really, really well. So I'm just going to take these out. Again, what's striking is the difference in size, because these ones are more of a fuller tarot size. But you can see the difference. We're still using the yellows and reds, and we've got the blue there, but we've also got greens here, look, that you can see on the cap and the gown, and on one of the stockings there. Oh wow. Let's pop that there. They feel very thin, but I think it's because it's this beautiful linen cardstock. I'm sure it's durable as well. I mean, it's MPC and I've never had any complaints yet. So you can really see the colour differences here, look, with our Magician. Notice as well that, and I do have, I'm sure I do have an English title one. Is this one English titled? No, Lamat. I mean, I know this one obviously is English titled, but I'm pretty sure, maybe I've got another one, JJ Swiss. I'm sure I've got one that had English titles, but anyway, other than Conrad's deck. But notice that what Vincent Petici has done as well is give us English titles. And, you know, perhaps purists amongst us, tarot purists, might want to keep the French titles, but I'm happy. So, as I said, we have the option now in this deck of having Juno or switching that out for this High Priestess. But let's just look, I mean, look at the style. It's very well done. This doesn't look out of place. It doesn't jar, you know, as an odd card or one of two odd cards at all, in my opinion. I think it's done really, really well. And then we have our Empress. So the colours are more muted. They're not as garish. And that is a criticism that's often, you know, laid at the one JJ Swiss, is that it's quite bright and a little bit garish. Even the hair and beard look has changed from the brown to grey. And then we have, let's switch that around a second, we have Jupiter, or we have the Hierophant. And I think I will switch for the Hierophant and for the High Priestess, because all the other versions of one JJ Swiss that I've got Juno and Jupiter in it, so it would seem strange not to, and it was one of the reasons why I got this deck. That and the fact that there's another one JJ Swiss deck out there that I didn't have. And I loved the few images that I'd seen. Okay, so I think you get the idea of the difference between the cards without me going through and showing you each one. So let's just have a look, although I do need to show you the difference on the minors, on the pips. But I just want to talk about what a gorgeous job he has done with this deck. These images are so ingrained in my mind. Right back from about the age of 8 or 9, I think, when Tales of the Unexpected started. I think I was about 9. The Moon card as well, I always remembered that from my first deck in 87. I really loved it. It reminded me of Romeo and Juliet. With her on the balcony. And the iconic Sun card, which is on the front of the boxes. How beautiful that World card is with these colours. Okay, and then just look. So if I get the coins from here, if I can find them. I think they've got a little bit mixed up. Here we go. So you can see the difference here. And certainly a real difference here. Complete change of colours. Even the red ribbon, it's a continuous kind of duck egg blue. And this says Fabrique de Cortez a Schaffhaus. I mean, it's kept the original title, which I'm pleased about. Okay. I know I'm probably coming across a little bit nerdy, but I'm sure you also appreciate what it's like when there's a deck that you've known and loved for a long period of time. And even though I would say I'm more of an RWS person, and I'm comfortable reading RWS, I'm very comfortable reading Marseille as well, because I read it in my own way. I use numerology. Oh, look at that, look how beautiful. You know, and very basic numerology as a starting off point, linked to the elemental association. So, oh, this is gorgeous. This has been done so well. So thank you, Justin, for you know, making me aware of this deck. I had no idea that there was another 1JJ Swiss out there, particularly with these new colour tones and the option of the High Priestess and Hierophant. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at them. Wow, that is incredible. Well worth the money. Didn't take long to come. I did pay for express shipping because I wanted to make sure I got it before Christmas, because it was a gift to myself. And we've got postal strikes here in the UK. There's no post today, there's no post tomorrow. And I didn't know how it was going to come. As it turned out, it came by FedEx, which was great. All right, thank you for watching, everybody. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have any version of the 1JJ Swiss? And if so, what do you think to this new version that I've showed today, which is the 1JJ Swiss by Vincent Petici? Let me know your thoughts. I'd really appreciate hearing them. It's going to take a lot because I really love this version, but it's going to be fun using this one as well and having those choices. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, go in peace, namaste, and blessed be.